Hi everyone, I'm very happy to have you for part 2 of the Metaverse Frenzy series. I hope you enjoyed part 1 and it helped you understand the fundamentals of the Metaverse. If not yet, please click on this link and have a look at it before watching this video. Today we will discover that metaverses can be used for various applications in different contexts, and we will list the 4 main vertical markets which are expected to be disrupted by metaverses in the future. After that, we'll make a focus on the gaming industry that is already showcasing clear signs of changes leveraging metaverses, NFTs, and play-to-earn models. In particular, I will try to explain you what are, in my opinion, the 3 core properties needed for a functional, successful gaming metaverse. I will present you a map of the current state of the gaming metaverse. And finally, I will talk about the challenges that might hinder the further development of such ecosystem. As you can see, the schedule is quite busy, so let's jump right in. The metaverse is quite a vast concept. We already mentioned in a previous video that it is purely and simply forecasted to be the future of the internet as we know of today. With that in mind, it's pretty easy to imagine that the metaverse will disrupt many industries, many markets, not just one. In fact, we foresee a huge impact of the metaverse on 4 main markets. First, social medias and interactions. This is an obvious one as metaverses are said to be worlds where everyone connects together. That means all the platforms that we use for expressing and discussing one's opinions, such as Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or tools that we simply use to connect with friends such as messengers, Skype or WhatsApp. We foresee there the possibility to have a real feeling of presence of the people you interact with, and the platform which governance is completely decentralized. Second and third verticals are hybrid work and education markets. I named those 2 together because they follow the same logic in the sense that participants, either teachers and students for the former or colleagues for the later, could sit together in a virtual room and collaboration, sharing work, discussions, brainstorming would be facilitated by digital tools. And finally, there is entertainment, which is an interesting one as it comprises several subcategories that will all be disrupted by the metaverse. We can name music, movies, traveling, or gaming. Indeed, in the future, going to a concert, to the movie theater, visiting a distant city, or just playing a fun game with your friends could be done directly from your living room. Among all these different types of entertainment, gaming is the first to massively adopt metaverse. That is why we will focus the rest of this video on the gaming industry. Understanding why the gaming industry is a great candidate for metaverse is fairly easy, as gaming content is natively digital. Hence, we can understand that many gamers wish to enter their game and become the hero of their own adventure. And that's what all the developments in VR are all about. However, it is a bit more complex to understand why NFTs and blockchain played a big part in the massive adoption of the metaverse in the gaming industry. To begin with, NFTs were not meant to be games. They were supposed to be pieces of digital arts like paintings or drawings that artists can create and monetize online and that you could collect and own or resell. This limited vision didn't really capture the essence of art collection. Of course, you can own and collect your piece of digital art, but in real life, you want to enjoy it. You want to visit a museum or an art gallery to enjoy art, or if you own it at your own home, you want to invite people over so that you can enjoy this piece of art. So just enjoying NFTs on the screen of your computer was not enough. That is why blockchain developers started to have the ideas of building virtual galleries in which you could store your NFTs and that you could visit, embodying your virtual avatars. Then, what if your NFT represents an object? Maybe you want to have it functional and have your digital self being able to use it. What if this NFT is now an animal or a pet? Maybe you want to breed it or to have it fight other animals. In short, with the explosions of all these ideas of everything we could do with NFTs, we witnessed what we call the NFT gamification. And little by little, NFT projects started to look more and more like video games. As digital content suddenly had a price and you could really own it, people wanted to experience more than just looking at it on a screen. I just mentioned that NFT really started to look like video games, but there was still a big difference between those two. The fact that with NFT games, you could actually earn money and even make a living out of your NFT possessions. Let's take the example of Axie Infinity, for example, which is one of the biggest NFT projects existing at the moment. In this game, you can own your pet that is called an Axie, and you can breed it and have it fight other Axies. If you win your fights, you earn the cryptocurrency associated to Axie Infinity. You can also breed your Axie so that it becomes stronger and then resell it for a larger amount of money than the one you paid for it initially. This cryptocurrency can then be sold to get stablecoin or even real dollars or euros. This new business model is called play to earn, and it's in total collision with the traditional gaming industry business model. Today, most of the games that we know are pay to play. Either you buy your game directly on Steam or you pay every month so that you can play this game. Other games are what we call free to play, so you don't have to pay to play those games. In both cases, you can never retrieve the money that you injected inside the game. So the fact that people like you and me that are not necessarily hardcore gamers can suddenly make money out of a gaming experience is a real paradigm shift in the gaming industry today. Let's now have a look at the current status of the evolution of the gaming metaverse. But for that, what is a gaming metaverse? Very often we see the same ingredients appearing. Very often it's an open world in which you can go wherever you want. You can interact with other players, either discussing with them or fighting them. There is an in-game economy, you can create, craft or sell things inside the game. And there are quests or missions that you have to do to earn achievements and rewards. But even more importantly, there is a feeling of choice and personalization. Usually, in a gaming metaverse, you can choose the path that you want to follow. With that in mind, I see three core properties that are required for a successful gaming metaverse. First, there needs to be a great content and design. There needs to be beautiful designs and interesting content and stories so that people want to play. Second, core property number 2 is the gaming experience. Either you can play on your smartphone or on a computer in front of a screen, or put a VR headset and really enter the story as the main character. And finally, core property number 3 is decentralized economy. The fact that in-game economy and out-of-game economy are actually bidirectionally related, and that you could make money from your earnings inside of the game. This last property requires the blockchain technology as an enabler. My personal vision is that by mixing those three ingredients, you can get a successful metaverse. Based on these three properties, I designed my own map of the gaming metaverse that I'm showcasing to you right now. All the projects listed in this map are aligned with the global definition of the metaverse, but they don't have all the three winning core properties, and that is why I divided the map into 3 regions. First, there is the traditional gaming coast that I divided into 2 sub-regions, Sandbox Beach and MMORPG Prairie. One sub-region is more focused on the full freedom, crafting and creation aspect of the metaverse, games like The Sims or Minecraft. The other one is more focused on the adventure and quest aspect, games such as World of Warcraft or Guild Wars. In both cases, the project follow the metaverse rules, meaning that there are multiplayer games in which you can interact, collaborate or fight other players. You live your own life and make your own decisions, very often in an open world. Traditional gaming coast elements have the particularity to be extremely rich in terms of universe, content and design. They often belong to old franchises with a fascinating universe such as Star Wars or Final Fantasy. They are developed by huge gaming production studios. That is why they are born with property number 1 in their core. However, Those games are played on a screen using a PC or a console, and they don't offer an immersive experience. In addition, they are all pay to play or pay to win. They don't support a decentralized economy. Let's now have a look at our second big region that I called XR Mountains. It is also subdivided into two sub-regions that I named AR Valley and Mount VR. In AR Valley, you can find all the augmented reality games such as the famous Pokemon Go, and in Mount VR, you can find popular virtual reality multiplayer RPG games. Here, you don't simply play on a screen, you get the full immersive experience. That is why they are the best at core property number 2. They provide the ultimate gaming experience. However, in terms of content and design, XR technology is still immature compared to traditional games on 4K display. Also, they are mostly pay to win or pay to play. Finally, we find Decentralized Forest, the region of blockchain, in which all the games here are linked to a cryptocurrency that you can buy, sell, and use both inside and outside the game. Your actions inside the game can get you to earn this crypto. Most of these games are play to earn. There are many different types of games in that list, but they all share something in common: the fact that they were developed much more recently than the games in the other two regions. The direct consequence is that these games are either very poor in terms of user experience or design, or they are simply not playable yet. Let me get more specific. There are on this list some games that are already playable, such as Axie Infinity, Abeguchi, or Decentraland. However, their designs are very poor because they were developed really recently. You can see that it looks like a video games from 20 years ago. Some other games, such as Illuvium, Star Atlas, or Wilder World, decided to offer their user awesome content and design. The downside is that these games are not ready yet. They are still in development phase. Of course, there is an NFT marketplace, and you can already go there and buy some NFT that you can later use inside the game, but the games themselves are not playable yet. You can also see that some projects are at the border between Decentralized Forest and another region. These are exceptions, of course, but it displays that a great development is in march. We can name Holoride between Decentralized Forest and XR Mountains that already offers to its users a VR experience, and then there are decentralized platforms offering augmented reality experience, such as OVR, that is really close to a Pokemon Go game, and Veve. In summary, all these projects are really disrupting the gaming industry with a new business model, but they are clearly lacking more development. More specifically, I'm talking about design, content, and of course, gaming experience. I hope this map gave you a glimpse of my vision of the gaming metaverse in a simple way. But again, it's only my opinion and I might be wrong, so feel free to share your comments in the dedicated section. Also, this is just an overview and very far from being an exhaustive list of everything that exists. To conclude this video, let's talk about what we can expect from the future and the challenges that might hinder the development of such ecosystem. What we can expect from the future is for these three regions to merge little by little so that we can find projects that offer both an amazing gaming experience, beautiful design, and a decentralized economy that can be leveraged inside and outside the game. In theory, that's beautiful and simple, but in practice, it's more complex than it seems. Especially since the business models from decentralized and centralized economy are colliding and hindering collaboration. On the one hand, there are all the new blockchain actors, the rising stars. And on the other hand, there are all the big tech companies and huge gaming studios that have been dominating this industry for a while now. Let's start with blockchain projects. As you can see here on CoinGecko, the top 4 blockchain metaverse projects, Axie Infinity, Decentraland, Sandbox, and Enjin Coin that you can all find on my map, have total market capitalizations of more than $2 billion, which is huge. Of course, it's not enough to compete with giants such as Microsoft, but it enables them to attract talents from the traditional gaming industry and engage collaborations with other studios or industrials. As an example, we recently observed that executives from traditional gaming companies such as Twitch, PlayStation, or Riot Games left their job to join the awesome Metaverse blockchain project Illuvium. Also, some blockchain actors such as Holoride that is offering to transform any car trip into a sensational virtual reality experience have been recognized by tech giants such as Facebook and started collaborations with huge car manufacturers such as Audi or Porsche. As you can see, it's not only software and IT big tech companies that see an opportunity in the metaverse. Here we see car manufacturers, but for instance, Adidas signed a partnerships with Coinbase and Sandbox to create its own metaverse land on the Sandbox platform, which is fully decentralized. Let's talk about big tech giants now. My opinion is that Microsoft might be the big tech giant that is best positioned to win that race. In fact, we already know that Microsoft is big into gaming. They own the Xbox platform with games like Halo or Minecraft. They already have XR experience with Microsoft HoloLens, and they announced that they want to go big inside the metaverse. And on top of all that, they started partnering with blockchain companies such as Enjin, which showcases that they are not allergic to decentralization and blockchain. This is great news for us as it should accelerate the development of the metaverse. Another giant that is showcasing a lot of interest for the metaverse is Roblox, that wants to be more than just a gaming platform, but a growing economy. A philosophy that brings Roblox very close to the blockchain ecosystem. Finally, there is Ubisoft that is literally planning to develop blockchain-based play-to-earn NFT games. Those are some examples, but it shows that traditional gaming studios, as well as giants from big tech, are really deep diving in this metaverse race. And we see more and more collaborations popping up between the traditional industry and the decentralized blockchain ecosystem. I hope you enjoyed this video, a bit long like always. This is a very complex and rich topic with many stakeholders from different ecosystems and backgrounds, and a huge potential for market capitalization. And I find it very hard to guess who will win that race. If you liked the video, please click on the like button and subscribe to the channel. And of course, don't hesitate to share your thoughts and your comments about this passionate topic in the comment section. As always, I encourage you to do your own research on these topics, and I'm providing you all the links that I use in the video description. I'll see you soon for the next video, and in the meantime, take care. Bye bye.